Plus,
Okay, give me just a second, guys. I think we're live, but I just want to confirm. It's just got that the stream's got to go through real quick. Okay, we are live.
awesome. Hi, everybody. Today is White Cane Day. We're really excited to be here and talk to you guys about it. I've heard it actually have many a name, but we'll just call it White Cane Day because that's the easiest way to say it. So, Clark, are you pumped up for White Cane Day?
I am. Thanks everyone joining us on YouTube Live. My name is Clark Rockfall. I'm the Director of Advocacy and Governmental Affairs for the American Council of the Blind.
He says that all in one breath. I'm always impressed. And I'm Claire Stanley, the Advocacy and Outreach Specialist at ACB. So we're just here today to take a little bit of time out of our day to talk a little bit about White Cane Day and what it means to us and answer any questions that might come through. I apologize, my guide dog is running around in the background, but I thought in honor of today, I will not box her in the room. She should celebrate with us because it's all about independence and she helps me be independent. So
Well, that's the kicker, Claire. You have a guide dog, a service animal. Why do you care about White Cane Day?
Because White Cane Day is more than just literally what the title entails. White Cane Day is all about independence for those of us who are blind or visually impaired and how we can use the resources that are available for us to be independent and be part of society, to work, to go out in public, to participate in society in all the different kinds of ways. So whether you get around with a white cane or a guide dog, use a monocular, whatever it might be, it's about empowering those of us who are blind or visually impaired to be independent in society.
That is awesome, and that is correct. White Cane Day is not, hey, look at that blind person over there with a white cane, given a thumbs up, just because they're happy to be out and about, but it's, hey, look at what that mobility tool and what the broader acceptance and independence of that person enables them to do.
Exactly.
Full, happy, healthy lives as part of the community.
Exactly. Yeah. So Clark, do you know when White Cane Day first started in the United States?
The exact year, no, Claire, but I think Eric Bridges was probably in high school then. So what year was it?
Oh, ouch. I think it was 1964, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, I think that is when Eric Bridges was in high school. Yeah, I think that's about right. Yep.
Yeah.
Again,
so over 50
background.
years. Yeah, over 50 years of recognizing the importance of empowering those with disabilities and independence.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of fun because I think, we laugh about the name, right? But I think a white cane really does symbolize something that's really important to those of us who are blind and visually impaired, that it is, something empowering to say that we can get around on our own, that we have the tools, and I like the word tools, as serious as it sounds, that we have the tools necessary to be independent and do what we need to do, again, to be part of society, whether that's going out to the shopping malls and shopping, which I love to do, or whatever Clark likes to do, but that we can be independent and part of our society.
I just like to make fun of my boss. That's what I do with my white cane.
I like it.
Claire, how is this relevant to the work that we do at ACB on behalf of our members and the broader community?
For sure. I mean, that's what the American Council of the Blind is all about, right? It's getting those of us who are blind and visually impaired involved in the United States to have rights, to have access to everything that every other American has access to, whether that be employment, getting an education, just getting involved with your own community, your city, your town, whatever that might be. So fun or serious, work or school, that we have the same rights as everybody else to access whatever is out there. And so besides just a cane, it's so much bigger than that. And that's what the American Council of the Blind is all about. It's showing that, we're people too, and that we, have rights and we have access to everything else, or we should have access to everything else, I should say. We're a community of people who believe in those rights and who want to empower other people who are blind and visually impaired.
Exactly. And White Cane Day is another opportunity for us to talk about the importance of independence, security, equal opportunity, and quality of life for people who are blind and visually impaired. That is certainly the work that we do on the advocacy team, working with the cross-disability community, our corporate partners, say, for example, expanding access to digital information or accessible user interfaces and audio description.
Yep.
More ways that folks can independently use their assistive technology in the workplace, in the classroom, access the media and entertainment of their choice.
Exactly. You know, I like that you talked about digital accessibility. It is 2020. During the pandemic, we do things so commonly now online and on our computers and through Zoom and other platforms. And so, you know, we want full and equal access to those digital spaces so that we can work and we can play and we can access the media. We can participate in the political banter, whatever it might be, that we have full and equal access. So that's just another example of how through access, we can be independent and we can be part of what's going on in our country. So, yeah.
All right. Kelly,
So,
do we have any questions from the audience?
No questions, but Tony did clarify the year. He said 1964.
oh, I thought that's what I said. No?
Oh, okay. Well, he made it. He wrote it down too.
Okay.
Yep, that's the year.
1964.
Eric's high school graduation.
High school. Yeah. So Clark, do you have any words of encouragement for any younger youth, you know, who are blind or visually impaired, and encouraging them to get involved in their community and to embrace this idea of independence, that we can go out there and do whatever we want to do? I know it sounds kind of corny sometimes, but it's true. It's really important to encourage younger blind and visually impaired folk to get involved in school, in, you know, their community, start thinking about work, whatever it is they want to do.
Absolutely, Claire. So first, I want to encourage folks to check out the ACB Advocacy Update podcast from this week. We have 3 great interviews with ACB members, members at all levels of leadership within the organization and our affiliates, as well as diverse geographical and personal backgrounds, and sharing
gender and yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sharing what a white cane, or basically proper orientation and mobility skills, means to them personally, professionally, and how it impacts their lives and their independence. So one of the questions that we dealt with a lot in that podcast, in those interviews, was how do folks get started using a white cane or using a guide dog, and what it's like taking that leap, basically admitting to yourself that a mobility tool is in your best interest and finding the one that best suits your needs. And once you accept that and learn how to use that tool, then, I mean, what else can't you do, right? What obstacles are in your way if you know what it takes for you to be successful? And that's really,
exactly.
That really helps folks start down the path of self-advocacy and speaking up for themselves, holding themselves to a higher standard that others may hold them to, and requiring more from teachers, employers, folks providing public services, so that you can be successful in the classroom, in the workplace, and just in the broader world and community.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's really well.
Guys, I have one question for you. How hard has it been with cane travel amidst all the social distancing with the pandemic?
That's a really good question. I've heard people talk about it, and it's not just cane travel, it's guide dog travel, or I would even wager, you know, people who are low vision who might not use either. It's just really difficult for those of us who have vision impairments to quote unquote social distance. So it's definitely a challenge, but I think a lot of people who have talked about it make a good point that, you know, it's not our job, it's not the job of people who are blind or visually impaired to have to stress about that hopefully society, through the symbolic things like the white cane or a guide dog, would know that we are visually impaired or blind, and that they need to, put the space between us and them, and that we shouldn't have to stress too much about doing it. It should be their responsibility, not ours.
And on that topic, Claire, I'm sure there's a notion out there, or just say like a baseline assumption, right? That, well, blind people just bump into everything, so we touch everything, right? And that's not necessarily the case, because with proper orientation mobility training, we do learn how to use our other senses to better understand our environment, right? So even though we might not be able to see someone, we may be able to pick up either audibly, verbally, or using our other senses that someone is approaching, or I hear folks up ahead. Let me assess the situation, find out what path I want to take, and orient myself around those individuals. And there's also really cool tools like Be My Eyes, Aira, that can certainly help with that. Unfortunately, some folks who have very cuddly toasted marshmallow guide dogs, a guide dog doesn't know to socially distance, right, Claire?
The exact opposite, actually.
Yeah.
I'll just add a funny story in there. Like you said, using tools like Be My Eyes or Aira, I was using one of those tools, and the agent kindly informed me that an individual in my perimeter, what word am I looking for, was not wearing a mask. And they said it quite loudly: "You have a person coming up near you who's not wearing a mask." And I thought it was kind of funny. It was like mask shaming through one of those services. So great tools out there. So that's a little bit about White Cane Day, everybody. And we hope people are excited to talk about it. I hope people proudly today will walk down the sidewalks and the streets if you're out and about, using your white cane or your guide dog or any other mobility tool or app or whatever you might be using, that it's not a bad thing or a negative thing or something we should be embarrassed about, but we should be proud that we're using the different tools and systems and apps and things like that we can use to be independent and go about our daily lives and not feel like we have to be isolated or be stuck.
Especially during the current environment with the pandemic, as much as people who are blind can use their training, their guide dogs, their white canes, and with proper health and safety protocols in place, still get out and be part of their community. We want to encourage folks to do so and do so responsibly. And if it's not the case, then we're fortunate that we're getting to a point where we have other means of access and inclusion, much like this here, Zoom to YouTube Live, that we can use to still maintain communication with folks with whom we work, our friends and family.
That's right. Clark, do you know the song Miss Independence by Kelly Clarkson?
No, will you please sing it for us?
No, I wanted you to sing it. Sad. Anyway, I just thought that was appropriate, being Miss Independent.
I'm sure it's available on YouTube somewhere.
That's right. Great. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. It was great to have some time to laugh and to smile and talk about White Cane Day, talk about how old Eric Bridges is. Everybody take time.
And if you have any advocacy questions for me or for Claire, please either leave them in the comments here or shoot us an email at advocacy@acb.org.